What's the difference between pull-ups and chin-ups? In a nutshell, pull-ups use the overhand grip, which is when your palms are facing away from you. Chin-ups use the underhand grip, which is when your palms are facing towards you. These two exercises seem very similar, but the truth is that both movements are much more different than it seems on the first view, even if you just switch the position of your hands. To understand this, we have to take a look on the mechanics for both movements. In both movements, you start with straight arms in a hanging position. From there, you engage your back and initiate the movement by pulling your shoulder blades down. After that, you bend your arms and try to pull yourself up as high as possible. In the last part of the movement, you let yourself down controlled. The different arm positions have a different impact on the muscles you use during the movement. You can classify the arm position into 3 different grips: the overhand grip, the neutral grip, and the underhand grip. All 3 grips use the biceps, the brachialis, and the brachioradialis. The biceps and the brachialis can produce a lot of strength, while the brachioradialis is the weakest of these 3. The chin-up with the underhand grip has the best muscle activation for the biceps and the worst for the brachioradialis. The neutral grip is a good mix between biceps, brachialis and brachioradialis activation. The pull-up with the overhand grip has the worst muscle activation in the biceps, but the best for the brachioradialis. When we take a look on the muscle activation, it's clear why chin-ups or neutral grip pull-ups are easier for beginners than pull-ups. They simply involve the strongest muscles around the elbow joint more efficiently than the overhand grip. Of course, a pull-up or a chin-up is not only about the arms. One of the strongest muscles for a pull movement is the latissimus dorsi. A common misconception is that many people think a pull-up is better for your lat activation than the chin-up. But in fact, both are really good if you want to build that wide V-shaped back. So in terms of lat activation, you can go with both. Now we take a look on the body position, and here it gets interesting. Have you ever noticed that hollow body chin-ups or ELSA chin-ups feel much more comfortable with the underhand grip than when you do them with an overhand grip? The reason for that is that the chin-up has a better muscle activation for your anterior chain and the pull-up has a better muscle activation for your posterior chain. The chin-up is perfect for the hollow body position, while the pull-up is better for the arched back version. It's getting even clearer when you do the movement on the rings. Rings are not fixed, so if you don't focus on a specific grip, the rings will turn themselves automatically in the best position for your joints. So when you pull up yourself on rings while aiming for a straight body, with contracted abs and quads, you will notice that the neutral or the chin grip feels more natural than the overhand grip. I already told you about the optimal biceps activation with the chin-up. Now let's take a look how and why the chin-up is connected to the anterior chain. The biceps has a long and a short head. Both heads have their origin in the shoulder and are fixed on the upper part of your forearm, close to the elbow. This means they don't only do the elbow flexion, they also support the shoulder movement. That's the reason why your shoulder tends to move slightly forward when you do the chin-up. The next muscle which supports this forward movement is the pectoralis. The pectoralis is fixed on your upper arm close to your shoulder and spreads out to your collarbone, your sternum and your ribs. So when you activate it, your shoulders and arms will move forward. The crucial factor for the pec activation is how close you place your upper arms. When the elbows are close together, you will use the pecs more. When they are further apart, you will use the pecs less, because they move through a stretched position. The result of all those movements is the hollow body chin-up, which is basically a mix of a pull movement and a plank position. The pull-up, on the other hand, is much better when you aim for an arched back position. The overhand grip, the greater range of motion in your shoulder, and a wider arm position will also decrease the involvement of the biceps and the pectoralis. It increases the activation for your traps, your rear delts and rhomboids. In contrast to the hollow body pull-up, you now want to activate your posterior chain. Imagine it like an arch-up. You pull your shoulder blades downwards and together. When you do a hollow body chin-up, you aim for keeping your elbows in front of your body and close together. When it comes to the arched pull-up, you choose a wider grip and try to pull your elbows and shoulders backwards as much as possible while extending your spine. This will result in a better activation of the posterior chain while your chest gets stretched. When you take a look at the back in the top position, you can clearly see the difference in terms of muscle activation between both versions. Now let's take a look on the grip. You can do both movements with a shoulder wide or a narrow grip. But when you take a look at the important points, you will notice that the pull-up has a better activation for the posterior chain and a worse activation for the anterior chain and for the elbow flexion than the chin-up. That's the reason why we choose a more narrow grip when it comes to chin-ups and a wider but not too wide grip for pull-ups. The narrow grip will support the hollow body position and the biceps, while the wider grip will allow a greater range of motion in your shoulder and with that a better support for the arched back pull-up. When you put all those information together, you will already see that the arched back pull-up is harder than the hollow body chin-up, even before you feel it practically. Using different muscles and a higher range of motion makes it harder to pull yourself up with the arched back pull-up. If you can't do a pull or a chin-up at all, it's okay to start with a chin-up. But if you want to learn the pull-up, you have to do the pull-up sooner or later. Today is Black Friday, and that's the reason why we got a special offer for you. For the next 3 days, we will give you a 20% discount for all single workout programs and workout bundles. Just visit our website now and get your workout program. If you have further questions related to this video, just leave a comment. Thanks, Alex.